Hello and welcome to the Just Another Castle podcast. I'm your host Matt, and with me this week are.
I thought you were at least
Awkward
going to say
pause.
someone's name.
No.
I'm.
So
Start
let's
over, start
that'll be
over,
the
do
that'll
over.
be the
That's the
the
fake
joke
start.
intro. Yeah. Hello and welcome to the Just Another Castle podcast. I'm your host Matt, and with me this week are.
Eli. I'm a student at Michigan State.
And
And I'm Unoclay. I'm a guy in Philadelphia. What's going on?
stealing my Krusty the Clown impression, you jerk.
Way to creep out the audience. I'm sure half of our listeners just dropped out after that laugh.
Oh well, we can say whatever we want now. Screw you. No, I'm kidding. This week we're going to talk about things like what we've been playing, some of the Nintendo Direct games, along with some more contemporary news. So we'll start off with what we've been playing. As usual, I haven't played too much, but funny enough, I did play a game Mario Kart 8, and the reason I started getting back into a bit was I forget what I was doing exactly, but I was just browsing the internet, looking up Nintendo stuff or whatever, and I saw a picture of Mario Kart 8, and I'm like, that's a really pretty game. I should go back and play it. That was like the sole reason of going back. And I found that I didn't get all of the gold trophies, especially in 200cc. So I basically just went back and rebeat all of those for funsies. And 200cc is hard. Like,
Funsies. I love the dialogue.
200cc is insane because I usually play the bike because I like to drift around corners and basically like grind. This is gonna sound gross. Grind around every curve, just so I can get every boost possible. But when you're going that fast, it's just not possible to grind around like some of the turns because they're so sharp and you're going so fast that you'll just fall off the side. So trying to figure out the perfect combination of a bike or any other vehicle to ride on those and actually like win first place is hard, but it took a couple of tries, but it was good. Finally got them all, so that was cool.
Wow.
It's really weird. On 200cc, the biggest competitors are actually babies. Like I'd always have like Baby Mario or Baby Daisy or Baby Peach, like at least in the first or second slot, and I'd have like at least two of them. So either their stats are better for driving because they're smaller and whatnot, or babies are just better than racing than adults. I don't know. It was just really weird to see that like consistently. It's like, okay, babies are driving.
Yeah,
And if
yeah. They're just trying to push those characters on you because they know nobody uses
I
them. I
think
think.
they're just trying
exactly.
to be realistic, because as we all know, babies drive way better than in real life than any of
Oh
us
yeah.
do.
If
Yeah.
Nintendo uses any younger characters, they're gonna have to explain to a child what a fetus is and how it can drive.
Whoa.
They've got to
It's like how
them
much
that.
Well,
farther
wait.
back can you
Well,
go? You
hey,
already got
Super
baby.
Meat Boy was announced
Oh yeah.
for the Wii U, and that game does feature a fetus.
Dr.
So,
Fetus, yeah. Oh gosh,
Uh,
Dr. Fetus available for Mario Kart 8. Yeah, so that's all I've been playing. I thought it was funny. But Eli, you were itching to play, or you were itching to tell us about what games you've been playing last week.
yeah, I've
So what
actually
have you
okay.
played?
So at the beginning of the year, I didn't play a lot of stuff,
Hmm.
but I've been playing a lot of stuff here in the last few weeks. I've been playing Twilight Princess HD,
Hmm.
which I mean, it's Twilight Princess, so it's good, but it's not like HD is a joke.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
it's HD as in they put it in widescreen again.
yeah, pretty much. I mean,
It's like it was widescreen. I think it was widescreen on the Wii.
like I
It's just
played the Wii
widescreen.
version, like two dungeons I think into the Wii version,
Hmm.
because I never actually beat it, and I played into about two dungeons in the Wii version maybe a year and a half ago,
Hmm.
and then I bought the HD version because I'm like I'm actually gonna make it through. So now I'm I think through three or four dungeons,
Hmm.
um, three dungeons I think. I just finished the Water Temple, um, and that game does not look very great.
Please
It
tell me that when you say dungeons, are you saying you passed the section where you're the wolf and collect the little, I don't know, bugs or whatever?
Yeah, I'm done with all that.
And you're saying 3 dungeons past that?
No, I'm 3 done. Like, I just finished with the water temple, like where you go and sink down.
Okay. I'm just about to get there, so sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to figure out what you meant, because I didn't know if those count as dungeons or if they just count as...
No, I didn't count that as a dungeon. Did you play this game when it first launched?
I played it a bit, got really bored of it, and I'm on the verge of getting the same reaction from it again. Not to be a hater. I think it looks pretty good, but maybe not up to HD standards by modern. But it looks better than the Wii, I thought. But go on, I didn't mean to jump in there.
Yeah, no, I think it looks better than the Wii, but that's not a very high bar to jump over.
Yeah.
I mean...
Especially when you're charging, like, full price for it.
Yeah, exactly. That amiibo's pretty cool, though. But, I mean, when you're charging full price for the game... I don't know.
My comparison is on the PS3 generation, you would have people or companies make HD collections, which were at least 2 or 3 games in a bundle for like $40, and this is one game for $60. It's like, come on.
Well, it's $50 if you don't want the amiibo.
I guess.
But yeah, I mean, for me, I value it a little more because I've never played through the whole game before. So for me, it's like, it doesn't feel like I'm paying $50 for a game that I've played before, because that's not something I would really be okay with. But since I've never really gone through the whole thing before, it doesn't seem that bad of a cost. But yeah, I'm annoyed with the looks. It's a shame that the game looks so crappy. But unfortunately, Twilight Princess isn't that sort of game that you really could make look that much better, I feel like, without actually building the whole game from the ground up, and that would take too many resources to completely rebuild it. Maybe Twilight Princess, when it's remade in a version like Final Fantasy VII, it would need completely new graphics, and that's just not something that they would do right now.
So are you liking it more? Are you liking the game more than when you originally played it?
Yes, but that's not because of the looks. It's because of the not having to wave a Wiimote around and stuff. I'm happy that I'm on an actual controller.
I actually like that. Maybe it was the novelty, but I also like the pointer functionality of like the claw shots and whatnot, because it just worked right.
I'm in the middle of the two of you guys, because I'm not like against using the Wiimote. I'm not pro it. Maybe I'm enjoying it a little better without having to do it, because it wasn't like Skyward Sword where you had like real battles that were clunky but functional with the sword and stuff like that in Skyward, but I'm in the middle of the two of you, it sounds like, because the Wiimote thing doesn't make or break it for me either way, really.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's all. There's not really a ton to say about Twilight Princess HD other than, like, don't go in with high expectations about it being all new and stuff. The other game I was playing was actually 2 other games I was playing. The other one was Fire Emblem Fates Birthright. Before I talked about Conquest, now I'm Birthright. I think I'm about 22 out of 28 chapters in, so I'm almost done with the game.
Oh my gosh.
It's good. It's really good as well. It's good like Conquest is. It's different because it's definitely it's substantially easier. Like, I was playing through Conquest on easy mode, and I was having trouble. Or not on easy, on normal, because there's no easy. I was playing through on normal and having a lot of trouble, and I'm playing through Birthright on hard and really not having any trouble. So, it's kind of... I like it more, though, even, than Conquest, because I feel like I don't have to be so stressed out about it. It's more enjoyable. And there's a lot of side content, so... I mean, I definitely recommend playing both games, but unless you're, a freaking pro of Fire Emblem and just hate your life, I'd recommend picking up Birthright over Conquest.
That's cool. So they feel different enough?
Yeah, they definitely feel different. Conquest is a little more hardcore, I'd say, and the stories are different, characters are different, fighters are different. So, yeah.
Cool.
And then the last thing I've been playing is Kirby Triple Deluxe. Have either of you two played Kirby Triple Deluxe?
I have. Unoclay.
I have not. I can't ever play Kirby games without feeling like I wasted my money. But I'm interested to hear what you say about it.
So I picked it up because it was on sale for $20, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'm not the biggest Kirby fan in the world. I like Kirby games, but I don't love them. But I really like Kirby Triple Deluxe. I'm having a lot of fun with it. And I think Jose, when he reviewed it, gave it a 5 out of 10. And
Yeah, something
I
like
don't
that.
see it, man. I'm liking the game. I don't know. What did you think of the game?
I liked it, but I don't know. I might be biased because I understand where he's coming from. Like, he feels that it's so easy that he's just walking through the motions and he's not really getting anything out of it. But, um, and it's true, it is easy, but I think the fun comes from like the powers and being able to use them in different ways. And the new powers they introduced in this, they're actually really cool. There's
Yeah,
like the archer. One of them you can sneak behind like cardboard and whatnot and be sneaky, and the clown, which has like those juggling bowling pin things. I forget. There
yeah.
was there. Oh, the beetle was another one that was really cool, and there was a fourth one I forget. But they all felt really unique, and I liked using them. So like that always boosts the game for me.
Yeah. Well,
I
and
don't know. Can I ask
I'm
a
only,
question?
I
I
was gonna
just
say,
I just wanted to know, like, is this? I know Kirby kind of, there's like the classic ones that are more like the platformer one, and he inhales stuff and becomes it, and etc.
Hmm.
And then there's like the ones that are weird and like
Yeah, the
different.
spin-offs.
Which kind of Kirby game is this? Because I don't know anything about it.
It's traditional, so it's the side scroller.
Gotcha.
Oh, and they had a Bell Kirby. That one was really cool. Sorry, go on.
honestly, yeah. I mean, it's fun to play with the suits and stuff. And I don't really think the game is that repetitive at all, like Jose made it out to be. I'm playing through, and I think the bosses are. I've only played through 2 worlds, so I don't know how the rest of the game is. But the 2 bosses I played through were unique to play. Like I didn't think that they were that, repetitive or that stuff like we've seen before. I really didn't have a problem with the game. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's fun. And they always have like a couple other modes, and the 3D effect I thought was used well. Um, I just the only complaint I had was I think it was like a bit too linear. Like some of the other games, there's a bit more exploring, whereas this is just like go right, finish. So that was my only real complaint, but I enjoyed it.
That sounds like every Kirby game to me.
Well, I mean, it's every side scroller too, to be fair, right? But so Unoclay, what have you been up to lately?
Like I said, I was playing a lot of Twilight Princess, a lot being maybe 10 hours, which I know is not a lot for a game that runs up to like lots.
Hmm.
I've heard 60, 70 hours from some people. Um, I had bought it when it, came out for Wii. I was very bored by it and sold it for full price on eBay, on my eBay channel way back when, because I was like, I'm just not having fun with this. And at the time, I must have picked up something else I was having more fun with. God knows, it might have just been Wii Bowling, and I was like, this game's better. But not to hate on it, like I don't have the same kind of reaction to the graphics. I think they look good. I think they look around the current generation, but not full HD, obviously. Like really, really, really high res stuff. My reaction was that it looks neat. It looks like a Zelda game's supposed to look, since they don't go for the ultra realistic look. Um, so that's not my bother with it. I'm getting bored of it because it's so gosh darn linear so far. It's just go here, get that thing, come back here, go here, get that thing, come back here. As I've expressed many times, I'm not really that into games that don't challenge on a maybe more adult level. And then a lot of people can make a snarky comment and say, then why do you play Nintendo games? Which just patently isn't true. But in this case, I've been told, oh, maybe it picks up later or maybe it gets better. I'm playing it on hero mode where you can't get any hearts, and it's still so easy. It's just, I genuinely thought actually the um, Link Between Worlds 3DS game was like more entertaining and fun, leading me to conclude maybe for me my issue is that 3D Zeldas are not my favorite, and that I'm more of a 2D Zelda guy. And when I reflect on it, I think it's just true.
Yeah.
And then I need to stop having high expectations for the 3D Zeldas because they aren't doing it for me that much anymore. Wind Waker is probably the only one that I'm like still a super fan, like it a lot kind of reaction to it. So,
So do you
you
think
know,
I
it's
can.
go
oh,
ahead, guys.
I was
I was
gonna
gonna
say
say. Go ahead.
okay, I was gonna say, do you think you don't like them because not just because of the difficulty, but just because there's so much in between time. Whereas like the 2D Zelda, it's like you run out, you go kill things. Here's a temple, like you go in.
Yeah,
Like it's
that's
just
part of it.
quicker. Like it cuts
Part of it.
cuts the fat.
It's part of it. Absolutely. I do not, to compare it to another game I'm playing lately, Watch Dogs. Going from place to place in Watch Dogs is fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'm crashing cars. I'm getting into altercations. I'm doing other side missions. And, Zelda, we all know there's a little bit of an issue there with their open world. They're a little empty by modern standards. And I grant you that this game was made, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years ago, whatever. And the resources at that time didn't allow for a Nintendo game on a Wii to like have a really vibrant open world type thing. But I don't have any fun riding my horse from place to place or running from place to place as a wolf. I'm bored. I am literally bored. I'm like, hurry up, wolf, get to place. Like that's all I'm feeling like. And then I get there and the thing I have to do is so easy that it takes me like 1 second and then I watch a cutscene and then Midna tells me to do something else and I'm like, okay, great. And then I turn it off. And come back to it thinking maybe it's going to get better soon. Like I do like the dungeons, the two I've gotten to play so far. I've enjoyed them. But that's in 10 hours, so maybe it'll pick up. I'm going to stick with it a little longer. I'm not done with it yet, but there's definitely a mission creep happening for me where I'm like, but enough about that. Eli, did you had wanted to jump in and say something?
No, that's okay. I was just going to say that I can understand your position. I like Ocarina of Time, for example, but it's definitely nowhere near the top how other people regard it to, for me anyway. So I understand where you come from on these 3D Zelda positions. I do really like, well, I don't know. I'm also not completely the hypest on A Link to the Past either. So it's not, I don't think for me, a 3D or 2D issue. I don't know what it is for me, because like my favorite, I love Wind Waker. That's probably my favorite Zelda game. I love, oh my gosh, I love Link's Awakening. I love Minish Cap. I don't know. I feel like I like some of the dark horses that other people don't appreciate as much.
I think the difference there is that you like the more oddball Zeldas. For sure. Like, not that they're bad. Like, they're all cool. It's just they're a bit quirkier.
Yeah, and I mean, I like Twilight Princess, but right now it's not like it's not at the top of the list for me. And I like Ocarina of Time, but that's also nowhere near the top of the list of my favorites.
Yeah.
Not to stretch it out, but the weird thing about not having a great reaction to Twilight is that they went for a semi-darker tone with the Shadow World and Midna and the Ghost. There's an eerie ambiance to a lot of the world you're dealing with. Those kids, gosh darn it, those kids you meet at the beginning, they look like little demons, like I don't know if it's intentional, maybe no spoilers please, because I've never finished it and if I actually stick with it, but like I keep thinking, do they look like demons because they are demons and I'm going to find out later, like, or is this just really some demented character model? But overall the Shadow World, I'm like, when I step back from it, that's why I keep going back to it, because I think it's neat. I like this idea of going through the shadow wall into the Shadow World and then everything's creepy. If only the demons were actually hard to fight. If actually the bats and the small enemies I encounter every 10 or 15 minutes would actually challenge me. It's just not even hard. I just beat them and I walk away. That's it. Or I run past them. Half the time I run past the enemies because it's like you don't really need to fight them. And that's maybe the part of the game I'm in. But I've complained enough. I'm going to stick with it. Maybe in a future episode I'll comment a little more on my final verdict. But that's all really to say about it for now for me. I do have some more interesting things to say quickly about what I've been playing. I did get an upscaler and the required stuff to connect an upscaler from my Super Nintendo for an HD television. Got it running. If anyone ever wants to hit me up on how to do it, it's pretty easy. I can show you the tech. And boy, it looks good, man. It's like it ran all said and done cables in the box, probably about $60 to get this stuff to hook a classic SNES to a TV. And I celebrated by starting over from the very beginning of Zombies Ate My Neighbors, which is just such an amazing game and deeper than it even shows when you first start playing it. It's a game if you're into trying out old SNES games that you missed, I've mentioned it before on the podcast, so I won't go into it, but it is one of the must-plays. It is a great co-op game. It's got a really neat battle system. It's got a lot of content. It's hard, and it's fun. It's funny because it's a monster movie kind of parody style of a game, and just you can't say enough good about it. It's why if you Google top SNES games, you're going to see it like pop up in most lists. It's great because you can play 2 players, and that's a big selling point for it. It's got hidden rooms. It's got just about everything you'd want from a LucasArts game of that era. So playing it on an upscaler was like probably the highlight of my gaming week since we talked last, because I spent probably 3 hours playing a game that's 20 some years old, and I was really getting into it. I don't know. I don't think you guys have played that. I think we've talked about it before, but maybe Mike had played it, but not you guys.
I know Mike had. I haven't.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, I know Eli, you're at a college. You probably don't have an SNES sitting in your closet, and Matt, I have no idea if you have one hanging around. I know you were an
do.
You do?
But,
okay.
Well, yeah. But I only have like 3 games for it because I bought it and then I put it, played like Donkey Kong or whatever and got to like level or world 4 or 5 and I couldn't get past it.
So
I'm
a youngin. Can you explain to me what an SNES is?
I just figured you might have one stashed away somewhere. Just not.
No, I actually don't. I had wow, it's gonna make you feel old, but
No, it's gonna make you sound young.
I had an N64, but I don't have one anymore. I had PS1 was the first console I owned,
Right.
and the only game I had for it was I think Croc or whatever the Croc.
Yeah.
Was that?
Yeah, that
was it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that was the only game I had. Oh, and I had Tomb Raider. I had Tomb Raider and Croc, and that was the only 2 games I had for the first PlayStation. And Smash Bros was the only thing I had for N64. And then I upgraded to the GameCube, and the only thing I had on the GameCube was actually I expanded my collection on GameCube. I had stuff like Ice Age, classics really.
Oh my gosh.
That's how I was, man, when I was a younger guy. You don't have the money to like get everything out there.
Well, yeah. In addition, I also of course played Pokemon, which is the reason why I got GameCube in the first place. Plus, Animal Crossing and a few of the other more traditional Nintendo titles, but also like Teen Titans and stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's totally cool. I was actually hey, retro collecting is what it is. I wouldn't assume anyone based on their age anymore was limited by when they were born, because when I go to trade shows and cons, I see people with their kids, shopping the same tables I'm at as a retro collector, and I see, dudes that are like college age, younger, picking up the stuff like we're talking about, so I would not assume anything anymore, cause, it's more a matter of money and time than anything with the retro hobby. So, so I was playing that, and I recommend it to everybody out there. And if anyone wants to hit me up on my IGN at Unoclay1, if you're interested in upscaling, I'm happy to just show you the links to where to buy the things you need. It's not hard at all. It's basically a box you attach to your television and some cables, and you're gonna really, really notice the difference, because the blurry pixels and sprites that you might not even noticed if you thought, oh, that's just how my SNES looks, and you kind of forgot. It's all gone, and it's like this beautiful, beautiful experience that shows you how great these systems were, in their correct presentation. The one other thing, I have a worldwide debut announcement that I joined Steam over the weekend. As some of you know, I don't play games on other systems. I don't have enough time. I have retro fever, and then I have my Nintendo fever. That's enough. But we had a friend visiting for the weekend, and I had been dying to try that game. So my very first Steam game was Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That game is so fun. It is great. You've played it, Matt? You've seen it, or you've played it?
I've seen Mike play it, and my brother-in-law, coincidentally named Mike, has, and we want to play it at some point. But from what I've seen from Mike,
Eli, have you gotten to play it?
No, I've never. I think I've heard of it, but I don't remember it at all.
It is a super fun asymmetric party game. You cannot play it yourself. It's a 2-player or more game. And I'm really interested in games like that capitalize on technology in new ways. And that's why I really caught my eye when I'd seen Mike, exactly our missing podcast member this week. I'd seen him and his friends playing it, and I could tell it was the kind of thing I would like. And it delivers. It's asymmetric. So one of the players uses the computer, and any number of other people use the manual, which you print out from a PDF. And the whole concept is self-explanatory. There's a bomb on a table in front of you, and you cannot look at the bomb manual, and your friends have the manual, and they cannot look at the screen, and they have to help you defuse this bomb. And it is stressful and funny and absolutely fodder for YouTube videos, which I'm sure there are a million videos of people playing it with hilarious results out there, because you're yelling at each other, or you're getting stressed out, or somebody's not communicating right with the others. And you get into a lot of situations because it's very elaborate. It's a fairly difficult game, but anyone who's a gamer will get it. My wife could get it, and she doesn't play video games. She had a little trouble because she's not used to manipulating like a Mac touchpad. And, you have to spin the bomb around and look at it and like manipulate it different ways. So that was a little challenging for a non-standard gamer. But other than that, like my other friend we were playing with, which 3 is about a really good number because 2 people on the manual and 1 person on the computer seemed really ideal. Otherwise, you might have to print more manuals, and the bomb handler is going to have a harder time because you're going to have a lot of people yelling at you, which is funny in itself. You like we were talking about trying it with 3 people maybe on the manual and taking turns who's the lead diffuser and who's the backup helpers. But I strongly recommend it. I'm not a guy who plays a lot of non-Nintendo games, not non-platform of Nintendo or retro systems. But it really delivers. And again, it's called Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. I think it was $15, and I got it for my Mac, and I had to upgrade to El Capitan, the new operating system. If you're behind on your operating system, you have to be running a relatively recent operating system to get it up. But it was worth it. We had an absolutely hilarious 2 hours, and I felt like I got my $15 already out of it, and just from the laughs that we were having and taking turns, and looking forward to playing it again. It's a good thing that Eli, living in the dorm life as you are, you could really kill it with friends with this thing. It's utterly funny.
Awesome.
So that's it.
So we'll move on to a couple of things were announced this week. So Miitomo launched in Japan, and it actually reached 1 million downloads in 3 days. So 1 million sounds like a lot, and I'm sure it is. I just don't really know where to gauge it because I don't really look at like mobile statistics. But it seems like a big number very quickly, so it sounds like it's doing well so far.
I actually want to. You said Miitomo. This is Miitomo,
yeah.
Right? Yeah. So I literally just wrote an article about this.
Oh, okay.
And
Where can people read your article, Eli?
I don't know. I just published it. So
you don't know where they can read it?
Oh, where can they? I thought you said are people reading it? Yeah, you can find it on Nintendo Enthusiast. But pretty much, like, there's 2 sides to this coin. Because on one hand, 1 million is a lot of downloads. Like that's just a big number. But on the other hand, when you have a country of 120 million people, 1 million downloads isn't that substantial. And when you think about the factors involved, like the fact that the app is free to download, a million's a lot, but it's if it can't keep up, this pace, then it won't really matter. Because when you've got the Wii U that got off to an excellent start at the very beginning, and then wasn't able to keep up with those sales after the first month, it didn't do it any favors. And mobile's an especially hard market because it's a lot harder to make money. There's studies published, and only about 1.5% of mobile gamers spend money in any given month. So 1 million's a lot, but if only 15,000 people are spending money, and to farther that, only about 10% of that 1.5%, so about 0.15% of all mobile users make up about half of the profits. So it's really about 1,500 people at this point that are going to make up about half of Nintendo's profits. It's not a profitable model so far.
Yeah.
Those are my thoughts anyway. I think that it's just kind of one of those things we have to look out for. There's no judgments we can really make yet, because $1 million's a lot in 3 days or whatever it was. But if it can't keep up that growth, then it's not going to matter because they're not going to be able to make money off of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it just launched only in Japan, so there's still like the rest of the world basically. And
yeah, I mean,
they're probably waiting to like promote it once it's everywhere rather than like just Japan. So
I'm sure they're promoting it in Japan right now. But when you've got Line is their biggest social media in Japan, and that's got probably at least 60 million downloads when the numbers I was looking at, which is half the population. If it's been out for a long time, so obviously I'm not expecting Miitomo to hit 60 million downloads overnight. But hopefully it's going to be on some sort of trajectory, to eventually get up to numbers like that. And if it's not, then it might not be so great. Once again, it's a free app, so there's really nothing prohibiting it from reaching huge numbers.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, there's not really much else to say about.
What's the model of how they make money off Miitomo? Are there in-game purchases for?
Yeah, microtransactions.
Yeah, they're all costumes, pretty much.
Yeah, good. Well, I mean, if people like it, good for them. It sounds so unbelievably boring to me that I wish them well. Genuinely interesting. I mean, that sounds like a good start, though, to me, as long as it translates to sales. But I think it's pretty early to say, I suppose.
Yeah. Once again, it's going to depend on whether they can hit bigger numbers. Like, I mean, really, they said they're targeting, I think, 100 to 150 million users when they were talking about it a few months ago. And if they hit that, then that's perfect. 1 million. That means that you're going to have at least, like 2 million people a month regularly spending on your app, which really isn't that bad at all. But if they don't hit numbers like that worldwide, then, is it really that big of a... Like, is it just the Nintendo fans that are adopting this app? Which, I mean, it's not a bad thing if it is, but it just means that they're not going for the mainstream success they were hoping for.
Yeah. I think they're probably trying to reach into the Tomodachi market because that game sold like 4 million copies, and this is like Tomodachi Light, sort of. So, I mean,
we'll see. I want to play. I thought about downloading the Japanese version, but decided I would just wait until the US one comes out, so I don't have to play through it twice. We'll see.
I'll see if my iPad is good enough to be able to handle it. Probably not. But moving on, Hyrule Warriors is getting more content over the next few months. So I think this is like the second season pass they've had, or maybe the third, which is kind of nuts. But the reason I bring it up is they're basically adding content from almost every other Zelda game except for the Capcom made ones. And the reason I don't like that is because Vaati is in one of those, and they don't have that game here, so I can't play as Vaati, and I hate them for it. They have Link's Awakening, Phantom Hourglass, Spirit Tracks, and Link Between Worlds, but they don't have Minish Cap or Oracle of Seasons or Ages, which is weird because the DS ones weren't even as good, to be quite honest. But I don't know, maybe they just didn't want to get involved with Cap. I don't know. I'm pretty sure Nintendo owns the rights to that anyway, but regardless, I was just kind of cheesed off they didn't put my character in it. But moving on, so Smash Brothers...
It's probably something to do with the timeline, man.
Yeah. So with Smash Brothers, I said I didn't think they would have an update to fix the character balances because Sakurai was saying... Hold on. So, because Sakurai was saying the team was disbanded, and I figured, well, maybe they're like packing up and going back to their own companies and whatnot, so they don't really have anyone left to hang around and do all this. But I was wrong, so I have to concede that Unoclay and Mike were right that there was going to be a new patch, and it fixed like now I don't know how amazing this update is for Corrin and Bayonetta. All I know is they are balanced.
It's a pretty huge update. I was reading a lot of Smash boards on it. I can't tell since I've refused to buy those characters currently, so I can't say, and I know I got my ass handed to me. Sorry, I just made it family not friendly. But like I just got my ass handed to me last night by a Bayonetta player who clearly knew what they were doing, and I haven't learned to defend against that character very well anyway. But it was a huge like change to the game because how Donald Trump said, huge. It's going to be huge. Like yeah, there was because I mean especially since my two quote mains. Zero Suit and Sheik, which are known to be two of the best characters in the game in terms of like pro stats. Yeah. They got nerfed big. Like both of them got hit. Like it's all over the place. I was trying to keep up with it and I couldn't after I was reading the boards for like a few hours. So
yeah. Oh, go on.
Go ahead.
Oh, all right. I was gonna say. Speaking of that, I was gonna say practically every character I play is getting buffed while. Some of Unoclay's are getting nerfed, like Sheik's needle distance is reduced by like 20%, so you can no longer like shoot them from the other side of the stage. So who's laughing now, Unoclay? Suck
you
it.
Can still you can needle pretty good still. I was testing that right away. I was like, it's
I checked it. I'm like, this is better.
Yeah, we'll have to battle again and see how that goes. Because I'm a needler for sure. I mean, but that's what you do with Sheik, Mm-hmm. But it's not. I mean, 20%. Yeah, it's significant on a big stage. Smaller on a littler stage, you don't notice it as much. Mm-hmm. She's still deadly. But I'm waiting to see like what the pros have to say after a few weeks of this and see if she has any chance of dropping out of the top.
I doubt it.
We'll see. But yeah, it really needed to happen. If you want my honest prediction, I'll make it right now. I don't think this is the last time they're going to tweak the game. I think I've said it before, but to reiterate quickly, it's Nintendo's only possible esport, maybe Splatoon. They have a very, very like vested interest in keeping this game relevant to the fighting scene, and they've done a lot of things that make me think that they get it finally. Everything from the stuff like releasing the GameCube adapter to having tournaments, like really big blazing, hey, we're going to have tournaments at our own, conventions and our own presentations and stuff. And then keeping attentive to games like Splatoon and Smash, even after they claim in both cases the games are done and they're still updating, So I think, they're evolving with the times on this, and it makes me happy because Smash is becoming my favorite game possibly of all time, So I'm like, yeah, dudes, I think you ruined it a little bit with these new DLC characters. They're overpowered, from what I can tell. But thank God, man. I was so happy. That was a highlight of my week as well. Besides the upscaler and the other stuff. So
definitely check the Smash boards if you want to see any of the updates. They make it really easy. They show the icon and then they just list for each character what the changes are. Mewtwo got faster and Charizard got stronger and whatnot, so I'm pretty happy. Basically all my characters like got buffed, and they're basically all like the low tier characters.
You're the only. I was gonna say you're one of the only people probably on the planet that plays Charizard seriously, and I'm like, dude, Charizard, really? Like he's literally awesome. Ranked like 52nd or something. He's really
but
low,
he's number one in my heart.
Pikachu, man, you downgrade your Pikachu in favor of Charizard. I can't believe it, man. Pika's like top 10, and then you're like rocking Charizard, man. That's crazy.
I'm having fun with Charizard. He's different. But moving on, we'll get through some of these announcements quickly. The game Rive on Wii U is Two Tribes' final game, unfortunately. So they're the developers of Tokitori 1 and 2 and some other stuff. Basically, long story short, they couldn't really keep up with the industry and they had to lay off staff and they're closing down and not really making games, so that kind of blows. Mario Kart TV, the website is shutting down. I didn't remember there was a website for the Mario Kart TV app thing, so...
Well, I don't think anyone did, because I looked at the Alexa stats for that website, and it was like lower than 1 million most popular websites, so maybe it got like 800 users a month or something.
Yeah, probably not good. Wow, I just thought 800 users a month is not good because my videos
I don't know. It was just tragic.
More than that, which is go on.
Yeah, it's definitely a low number, like a really low number. It's just not worth it to pay for those servers,
No, and I doubt there's not as many people playing Mario Kart 8 anyway, probably. Two unfortunate things that happened this week were Professor Layton, or the the puzzle creator for Professor Layton. Wow, the puzzle creator for Professor Layton, Akira Tago, has died at the age of 90. So he was a psychologist that created like a bunch of quiz books, and they became like million copy sellers, which was kind of crazy. They sold like 12 million copies, which is nuts. It's kind of sad to see someone die that worked on such a long-standing franchise. And then the Pokemon creative design director. So I don't think people listed this properly or outlined it properly, but he created logos for a bunch of Pokemon games, not actual character designs, but still it's unfortunate. He was killed in a windstorm somewhere in the United States, I think. He got
in
thrown into a
Washington.
tree or something. Yeah.
Jeez, rest in peace, Nintendo developers. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Wow, what a bad week for those guys. I hadn't heard about either of those.
Yeah, it's too bad. There's not really a good segue to go into news, so now on to news.
Fun.
Yeah, oh, jeez, that's horrible. The Legend of Zelda's turned 30 this year. I think this happened a couple of weeks back, but I only got to bring it up now. But hopefully for the 30th anniversary, we'll get a better gift than Skyward Sword.
Happy anniversary, Zelda. We spent the first 10 minutes of our podcast hating on your recent update of a game. Hey, it's
not
still...
hating.
No.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Hey, for the record, I like Twilight Princess, so...
Likewise, yeah. No. Yeah, and I mean, hey, if it needs to be said, like Legend of Zelda 1 is still like my quasi-official favorite game ever, if at least in terms of retro. It's just they just invented Gorons, and then the series just went downhill. That's all I got to say. So.
I hope they do something, another special thing for the 30th, because on the 25th they did what is it? The Symphony of the Goddess concerts, and those were really, really well done. I enjoyed it, and they're still going on, which is insane 5 years later. Hopefully they do something else special, maybe like a collector's edition, and like with a statue or I don't know, something.
Yeah, I was trying to think,
is still a big landmark.
I was trying to think, like, what could they do? The concerts are so big, you can't really do something bigger than that. I mean, yeah, it's hard to think of like what they would do, besides like, reveal that the timeline is bunk and like remake the whole thing or something. Like all of a sudden something really tectonic. But maybe show us some of the new game. Would that be too crazy?
I don't know. We're asking a little much there, Unoclay.
A little much to see the new Zelda game, right?
Oh,
like another screenshot.
They better come out with both arms swinging. Like give me a trailer and give me like a 5-minute gameplay demonstration that has something, not just walking through the woods doing nothing. But moving on.
You know that's E3 stuff. So yeah, moving on.
For sure. Well, it'll come out at E3. But moving on, Shovel Knight's coming to Japan, so maybe we'll actually get him in Smash 5. Who knows? It's just a funny thing that people are like, oh, Shovel Knight can't come because we only know him in North America and maybe Europe or whatever. But maybe
I wasn't aware. Saying that game was never out in Japan yet.
No.
I had no idea. That's pretty crazy. Had I known that, I would have been 100% like it's never going to be in Smash. I did not know that little fact. That's interesting.
Yeah, so maybe he'll have a chance now. Who knows? I think the other indie characters were in Japan as well, but that didn't mean anything. Yeah, so Super Meat Boy and the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth are finally coming to the Wii U, like Eli said. They were Super Meat Boy was meant to come on the Wii, then there were file issues, and then the Binding of Isaac wasn't going to come on.
Well, it was just Nintendo was being ridiculous.
Well, there was file sizes Nintendo and then like the either religious imagery or just like blood or something stupid. I don't know.
Nintendo's just a ridiculous company, and God bless their games, but the decisions they make, like say a 40 megabyte cap, like on the Wii, no game could be bigger than 40 megabytes for the downloadable games. Like that's just ridiculous. It's ludicrous.
Well, how big of the file space was the Wii? Because you couldn't plug a hard drive into it, so.
But you could get an SD card. You could, and I think the Wii had 256 megabytes, something like that. Yeah. But you could always put an SD card in, and so Nintendo capped that, and poor Super Meat Boy developers couldn't get their game on the Wii. It's like
I'm looking forward to it. I haven't played it yet. I've tried it at my friend's. I lie. I did play it at a friend's house on his Steam account for a few minutes, and it seems like something I'll love. I'd rather have it on a portable, but I'll take what I can get.
I think it
I'm
is
looking
on the.
forward to it.
Oh, sorry, no, it's a new 3DS exclusive. That's what
Oh wait, are you
happened there.
serious?
Yeah.
Oh, bummer. I thought you
It
said it was coming to Wii
No,
U.
no, it,
Oh,
it is coming to Wii U, but I was thinking of, you said you'd rather have it on a portable, and I was thinking, I thought
yeah.
it came to 3DS, but it was new 3DS exclusive, if I
Yeah,
remember.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It just seems like more like the kind of game I might be likely to play portable a little more,
Yeah,
but
pick up and play.
I'm happy to try it any which way, if the time ever allows. I'm glad it's coming. I was psyched when I saw that
Yeah,
announcement, even though it's a couple years late as usual.
yeah.
But
Well, I'm surprised they kept to it and, like, uh, kept trying to put it on the platform, even though the platform's basically dead, but good on them. Hopefully they got money for it. Um, So this year and a bit of last year has been interesting. Nintendo has had more leaks than an old man with a bladder infection, because we've had the Paper Mario rumor from Emily Rogers, and that turned out to be real. And she also said Mother 3 was going to be localized at the same time, so maybe that'll happen at E3. The Nintendo
yeah, I was
Direct,
hearing rumors about that from other people as well
yeah.
about the Mother 3 thing.
And then before the Nintendo Direct went live, a couple of days before, there was a folder leak. So someone had a picture of, like, just the folders of what games were going to be in there, and I'm like, it was funny. I was making fun of it. I'm like, anyone can make this. It looks too fake to be real, because 99% of the time it is. Like, someone makes prints out a paper and it's like, these are the games for E3 and presenting. It's like, no one does that. Like, they're all fake. But this one, for some reason, turned out to be real, and that's insane. And then Super Metal Dave had like a 3DS list. So Nintendo's getting slippery with their games. Everything's being leaked. Like, this is kind of nuts for.
sometimes it's strategic. Sometimes that stuff's happening on purpose. I don't think that whole folder leak was on purpose. That's a little much. Why would they do that
Yeah.
business wise? But yeah, it's
I don't know, cause
somebody's going to lose their job when they find out who it is.
yeah,
That's
because
been pretty wild.
there's such a secretive company. Like, we won't tell you anything until we are ready to. Like with Zelda, they could have showed it off like 10 times by now, but they've held close to it, and it's like all these things are being leaked. It's kind of ridiculous.
You got to think it's because it's got to be someone in an American company because
Mm,
first of all, the content we're getting, seems to be in English.
yeah,
But secondly, it's just like, I mean, that's probably very troubling to them because we're the bigger market, but we're this to them the second market, and maybe it's like kind of our national culture of like, maybe not respecting the secrecy and the business culture as much. I don't know.
mhm.
It's pretty wild. I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah. So on to some of the actual direct news. Some quick things I wanted to toss out there before we get balls deep into it. The weird Game Freak horse solitaire game that came out like 3 years ago, that they like hyped up for some reason, is coming over to North America for whatever reason. I don't know. It looks kind of dumb. They tried to like play it up. It's like, no, no, it's just solitaire. Don't just let's move on, please. Shin
I
Megami.
agree. Let's move on.
Well, I meant for them to move on when they announced it, but yeah, moving on. Shin Megami Tensei got an English name finally. It's called Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE. So it's still a ridiculous, nonsensical, like mouthful of a name that is really not gonna gain anyone's attention. I mean, it was already a
Hey,
niche audience game, but it's like, all right, whatever. It doesn't matter at
hey,
this
hey,
point.
hey, hey, let's all remember Bravely Default Flying Fairy did quite well.
They took off the flying fairy part for North America, but yeah, it did do well. This is just so I don't want to say weeaboo, because that's not necessarily right, but it's like a very weird Japanesey name that only like that kind of audience would gravitate towards. It's weird, but it's funny. Um, Mario Maker, they showed some new updates for that, and I actually like a lot of the updates they're bringing. They're really cool. Basically, you can force boss battles because you can make bosses hold keys, and a lot of things to do with unlocking keys in different ways, whether it's collecting coins or finding certain secrets or whatnot. So I think it's really gonna make Mario Maker even better. Um, so it looks really cool. I'm surprised they don't have slopes, since that's the one thing everyone keeps complaining about, but I'm guessing maybe it just has to do with it doesn't really work well with their engine, possibly.
It wouldn't translate to classic Mario like from Nintendo. Like you can't have slopes in that game. You know, it's all rigid block
No, you can.
tile sets.
Oh, you mean the original?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So like
Well,
that's
they've
what I've
kind of
thought
played
about
with
that.
that a bit with some of
I've
the other
always thought
stuff.
like you just can't do that. Like I don't even know why people care that much, to be honest. I'm like, good God, people,
Well,
like, who cares?
they
You
were
can't slide
both
down it.
they're both in Mario World and New Super Mario Brothers, which are both like
Right.
the games. But I mean, like the physics are the New Super Mario Brothers one, so that kind of they tweaked the original Mario in several ways like that. So I don't know. The whole game is kind of like twisting Mario around in different ways, so I wouldn't really see it as a problem. But I'm thinking it's more of the hardware side that's screwing things up. Um, but one thing I really liked that was announced was Rhythm Heaven Megamix is coming to North America. So I don't know about the rest of you, but I played the DS one and I really liked it. And this one is kind of recycling some of the games. It's 70 previous ones from I think there's 4 games in the series and 30 of them are new. And I only played the DS one, so basically all of it's going to be new for me. So I'm kind of excited for that. Has anyone else played Rhythm Heaven?
I did. I played the original DS version. I thought it was really fun, but never played the Wii version.
Mm-hmm.
I played the Wii version and the DS version. The DS version is far superior and is a game everyone should play. If you have any interest in short form WarioWare / rhythm game type stuff, it's awesome, amazing, super Japanese sense of humor type thing going on in there. It's a great game. I am not super excited, and I'll have to wait and see. But with that much recycled content, I'm a little less likely to pick the new one up because I 100%ed the DS one as much as you really can. I think there were like a few that I didn't get the absolute highest score on, but I was really close. I had like everything unlocked on my cartridge. So yeah, like a little new content is nice. I don't know. It's great. It's good it exists because I mean that game should get out to people,
Yeah.
and I'm sure it'll expose some new people to the series. So I'm not against them doing it, just not for me, perhaps.
I forgot to mention it does include the recycled quote unquote games. Also includes the Japan only GBA games. So there's probably going to be there will be more than 30 new ones because one of them we didn't have access to. But yeah, if you played
Yeah,
2 of them, I guess look to see if you're interested or not. But if you only
yeah.
played one like me, I'm psyched for it. So that'll be awesome.
The Wii one isn't nearly as good as the one on DS because you use the Wiimote and it's
Yeah,
not very interesting
yeah.
compared to the touch screen. So if anyone out there listening hasn't played any of them and you don't want to wait for the new collection, just get the DS one and you'll it's just a phenomenally fun game. I'd loan it to you. Email me.
Yeah. I figured that was the case with the Wii one from what I've seen, but I liked how the researcher mini game became a me. There's like a girl interviewing like a muscular guy, and people put like Terry Crews over it and stuff. Just went crazy with that, so that's hilarious. But so back to the direct. One of the things they showed was Star Fox again. They finally said. So they
Yeah.
finally.
Yes.
So they finally said that it's not getting delayed. It's going to release April 22nd. Gosh dang it! So they're sticking to their guns there. They showed some cool things like the Fox Amiibo unlocks like the SNES R-Wing, which looks kind of neat, and apparently they'll unlock some other stuff. They try to make a transforming R-Wing, but I guess there was issues due to the small size of it and safety rules. So I'm guessing they think North American children are stupid and going to eat it like they're Kinder Surprise eggs. Uh,
And they
um,
would, so that's probably smart, but they don't do
if
it.
only they thought of the Canadian market where we don't eat our Kinder Surprise eggs and choke on them.
Oh, you think
um,
that they're so smart up
just
there in Canada?
just pushing that in there. They're not grenades. They're fine. They're not dangerous. But they altered a bunch of things and made some improvements to like the graphics and adding branching paths and different bosses and whatnot from the complaints people had at E3.
Dude, honestly,
So that's
although
good to hear.
graphics and everything were my complaints at E3 because the
Mhm.
game looked like crap and
Yeah.
now looks marginally better,
Yeah,
my
somewhat.
biggest complaint were the controls. Like, and they were everyone's biggest complaint. We'll
Yeah.
see. And they said that motion control, like, there's a less motion control mode, but there's no motion control less mode. So, I mean, we'll see how this thing turns out.
It's gonna be awesome. I love it. I love it because Mike's not here to be the hater. I love it that Eli's got to be the hater.
I mean, I've got a little bit of
Well, to be fair, Unoclay, he actually played it, so he has more.
But I mean, I was never. But the thing about me though is I've never really been that huge of a Star Fox fan. Mm-hmm. So like I played Star Fox 64 and I liked it, but I wasn't like a huge fan like I know a lot of Nintendo people are. So who knows? Maybe for a lot of those people who are really big fans, they're gonna, if there are problems anywhere, they're gonna overlook that. But if the game is already for me like not the most incredible experience, then it's going to be a lot easier to ruin something like that. We'll see. I mean, I just don't want it to be a situation where Nintendo's hyped this thing up for so long, put so many resources into it, this, that, the other, and then it releases and gets, 7s on the review scale because people wanted to have so much fun with it, but the controls were too crappy.
Yeah.
I mean, people were really negative on the idea of Splatoon's motion controls, and they work really well. In fact, I think I don't argue that it's like the best way to
disabled. And first of all, those can be completely disabled.
Yeah, but that's a worse way to play the game.
I don't think so. I'd rather play without the motion controls.
I think it depends
the
on
thing
who you
is
ask.
The thing is that you have the option. So if you think the motion controls are kind of buggy, then it's like, okay, I can turn it off and still play it perfectly fine. The problem go on.
Second of all, the problem with the motion controls in Star Fox are just inherently different with the problems in Splatoon. Mm-hmm. Because in Splatoon, it's just like, oh, I prefer to not have motion controls. In Star Fox, it's, crap, I have to look at my bottom screen now and simultaneously look from top to bottom, and while I'm steering here on the bottom screen, I'm crashing on the top screen, and while I'm not, shooting here on the bottom screen, I'm either crashing or I'm not shooting correctly.
But all these kids these days are driving and texting at the same time. It's pretty much the same.
Well, they're also dying from it, so that clearly shows they can't multitask.
You're right, Clay. I guess we should just encourage everyone to text and drive as well.
No, it's going to help. It's going to help with the problem because you're going to learn to do better. You're going to be like, I'm good at looking at this other screen while I'm driving.
I blew up my spaceship, not my car.
Texting and driving courses before they play Star Fox.
Oh my gosh.
I'm a huge fan of the series, and I'm pumped for it. I have a feeling that it probably won't be the end all be all, and that it's got some problems. But hey, it's Star Fox, and it's like they can't win. They don't make a game, they don't make an F-Zero for years, and people are upset because they don't have one. And Star Fox is in the same bucket, so it looked good to me. I mean, I do respect that you did get your hands on it, but I mean that was a while ago, and we all know how much Nintendo can really change a game.
True. It was a while ago. I'm not the biggest Star Fox fan, so we'll see.
So, I don't even know if I'm in the middle. I guess I'd probably be more on Eli's side, if you could say that. But, I'm not, crazy about Star Fox.
You always take his side.
What?
You always take his side.
I thought you were doing, some sort of British impression. You always take a side.
No, I'm a hurt gamer husband.
Shut up or I'll beat you again. But no, I'm not crazy about Star Fox, but I played 64 and Assault, and I like them. I had fun. And this one, I'm excited for this one, but the controls, obviously I haven't played the game, but the controls are a big thing to me. I want to try a demo before I can really get into it, because it really seems unnecessary, because it just seems like Miyamoto's forcing them in there for the sake of forcing them in, rather than they really add to the experience. So his idea is being able to move the ship and then aim in two different directions. Okay, you could do that with two sticks. It's called a twin stick shooter. The left moves the ship, the right moves the cursor. But they changed the cursor, or they changed the right analog stick to be turbo, like a boost button, which doesn't make any sense. You have so many buttons, you could just put it on an extra shoulder button, and then you would be able to have the two sticks and not have to look back and forth on the gamepad. It just seems really unnecessary and intrusive to go back and forth and look at the screen. So that kind of bugs me. It just doesn't.
Man, I feel like
doesn't seem necessary.
I feel like I'm defending Star Fox on the Xbox show here. You guys are like, hey, Nintendo's need to innovate. You know, that's what it is. But we'll see.
I'm just annoyed by the fact that they'll choose this control scheme, which is obviously inferior to the other control scheme, and then they're shoving it down our throats as innovative instead of like.
Yeah, I hate when people bring up, oh, well, it's innovative. No, change doesn't mean it's innovative. Innovative means it has to offer something better than...
It's got to be intuitive. It's got to feel good.
Innovation has to mean it's better than an experience you would have had before, the normal or traditional way.
It's going to feel good. It's going to...
You don't stick the gamepad up your ass. That's not how you play the game.
Miitomo doesn't let you feel bad, baby.
But...
are we going to talk about the game it gets bundled with?
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. Game. So Project Guard looks actually really cool. It's the game they showed off where you have 12 cameras. It's like a tower defense game, so you can control 10 cameras from the gamepad by clicking on them. And then you see them on the top screen, and then you have to shoot like little robots that come by before they get into your base. And I think it's really cool. It's coming with the game. They're selling it separate for some reason. They didn't say a price. I'm guessing like $15 or something. I guess I don't know what the reasoning is. I guess if they think, oh, someone might want Star Fox Guard, but not the actual like whole game. Whatever. It doesn't...
so like the people that understand the crappy controls.
I mean, the real answer is why not? I mean, the real answer is why not?
It doesn't really matter.
They can make money.
Now, by the way, I do want to clear something up. Sure. I'm just crapping on Star Fox right now, 90% for comedic value.
Yeah.
I actually like really hope the game is good. Like I don't want the game to be bad.
Yeah.
I'm just, I'm just being facetious.
Flippy Toad is crying in his pillow at all your hate, dude.
Oh yeah, and his uncle Grippy. Slippy and Grippy. It's two unfortunate names. Well, it's like
Tinkle or Linkle or whatever her name is.
Hey, Slippy, I'm your Uncle Grippy. Like it doesn't sound too good. I'm your Uncle Grippy. Come over here so I can grip you.
Get over here, Slippy.
But so if you buy Star Fox digitally, you can still get the game at the same price as retail. So it's not like you're losing out if you get it digitally. It's just that if you want only one and not the other, then you can do that. So whatever. It's just an option. But moving on.
Looks awesome. I can't wait. Like I thought it was like the best thing ever when I heard that. I was like, wow, a free game that I wanted that game anyway. I would have bought it separately. So
yeah,
neat.
Yeah. I hope they put out a demo because that and Pokken Tournament I want to try on a demo before I really like sink into it. Even if it's at like Best Buy or something. Like just.
That's the big elephant in the room. So nobody here has played Pokken Tournament yet, and it just came out like 3 days ago or whatever, right?
I want to play it, but I think Europe got a demo for it, as well as Hyrule Warriors Legends, and I hope they bring that over because I'd like to play it, but also because I can't buy it anytime soon. So that's one way I could play it, but I'm interested in Pokken Tournament, but I have yet to try it out. So.
I'm more interested in hearing you guys say all the funny names of the Pokemons than anything, because I know it won't be as good as Smash. Like, and that's not hating on it. It's just not going to be as good as Smash. So, like, I'm not that interested because I only got one room in my life for one fighter, really. So It's like,
Yeah, it happens. So moving on to something at least two of us will like is Kirby Planet Robobot. It's coming June, so that's pretty cool. It's based off of the Triple Deluxe engine, so that kind of bugs me a little because I would hope for something newer rather than, the last couple of Nintendo games have put out are just kind of like not mediocre sequels, but they don't really do too much. They like base off of the previous game. They just kind of add a little bit to it, but this one looks cool. It has new copy abilities and it has mechs. One of the copy abilities is a doctor in which he whips out his degree and rubs it in the enemies' faces. I think that's hilarious. He's just like,
what is with Nintendo and these doctor characters? My one friend did out. My one friend was like, when I was talking about getting a Dr. Mario amiibo, he was like, who does that? Who makes an action figure of a doctor character? You know what I mean? And I was like, exactly, Nintendo, brah.
Yeah.
And then you have to claim, you got to be like, dude, he's cool, I swear. He's like a badass doctor.
It's cool to be a doctor.
Where's Dr. Game & Watch? Come on, people.
Yeah, you know this.
But yeah, no, I'm excited for Kirby Planet Robobot. What about you, Eli? Since you're playing through Triple Deluxe now.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, for me, Kirby games are like I enjoy them, but I'm not crazy about them. Like I think they're generally good games. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it in terms of finally I can play a Nintendo game because this year has been so incredibly shitty. But yeah. I mean, what have we had? Let me think this through. We are on month 3 of 2016. We just had our first Wii U game, right? Pokken Tournament.
Yeah. Twilight Princess came out a couple of weeks ago.
Twilight Princess came out, but that's a re-release.
It is, but
and then
something.
Pokken Tournament's a fighting game. I'm just like thinking about a personal level. Don't get me wrong, like for other people, go crazy. Other people, I bought Twilight Princess, but like on a personal level, it's like, all right, well, really nothing on the Wii U front other than Twilight Princess, which I already owned on the Wii, and then on the 3DS front. We did get the Mario and Luigi game, right? And then, Project X Zone 2.
Yeah.
I
know there's a bunch of JRPGs coming out this year, like Dragon Quest.
Yeah, there are, and I'm excited because we got Dragon Quest re-releases. We got Bravely Default or Bravely Second coming out. Just these first 3 months have been kind of disappointing, and I just feel like we're in a drought again. And I'm just ready for the next thing. I'm ready for the NX.
Yeah, me too. Because to be honest, some of their games from like last year were just kind of like not very good, or it's just like here's a sequel, but there's not really much added to it. It's like if this is what you have to do to just make sure there's a steady amount of games, then just put out the NX because I'm ready for full-fledged sequels. But
yeah, you're telling me.
I got a backlog.
Hmm?
I'm not ready for an NX. I got a backlog.
Well, I mean, it's better for me if the NX comes out earlier because then when I can actually get it, it'll be cheaper, like the PS4. Except they jacked the price up on that, so now I'm gonna have to wait longer. Jerks.
Canadians.
Canadians.
How dare they?
Your infants are smarter than ours.
Matt, you're not the only one who's suffering from the tanking of the Canadian dollar. I get paid for Nintendo Enthusiast by the Canadian dollar because our site's based in Canada, and my pay has gone down 30% in the last 2 years because of your shitty dollar.
It's funny because in my case it's the opposite. Like I don't make as much money off of you, but for YouTube I get paid in American money, so it's like you get this number, but it's actually this number. It's like, oh, that's better.
Blame Canada.
Damn it, Canada, screwing everything up again.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, back to Kirby. You can like pilot mechs and they can get copy abilities and stuff. So I mean, it's not insanely different, but it's different enough. It'll be cool. And the Kirby games always throw in a couple extra modes. Nintendo kind of leaked them by accident, but I'm always up for a Kirby game. And they showed off some new amiibo for the Kirby line, and I'm kind of bugged because the Meta Knight amiibo looks better than the current one, so I kind of want to get that one instead of the one.
I'm bugged because Nintendo is trying to steal all my money.
Well, you said you don't really care for amiibo anymore, so you shouldn't buy anymore, right?
I didn't say I don't care anymore. I just say
you said they're not special anymore, so.
I said that they were never special in the first place.
Okay, yeah.
Now you say that. Now that you've got your addiction under control. Oh, now they're not special anymore, but I gotta get them. No, I hear you.
I'm just annoyed by the fact that they think that they can take advantage of me.
And all these girls.
I'm just a poor college student, okay? Stop trying to take all my money.
Yeah, you got to get that addiction under control. I got mine under control very, very nicely now. I still buy them, but I didn't even unbox my Zelda Twilight Princess one because I was suspicious that I might not like the game, and I want to be able to resell it if I don't. So I'm controlling it.
I got my addiction under control. All it takes is being poor.
I feel ya. I feel a little poor because when I look at my amiibo collection, I kind of know that I'm an idiot.
Your amiibo are probably worth more than what I have in my bank account.
I'm not going to comment on that.
Yeah. So they have the amiibo unlocks some crap in the game. It's kind of stupid. It's just like here you can use a costume, and one of them bugs me because it's the UFO ability, which was always like not always, but in a lot of the games it was a secret ability you could find, and it's overpowered, but it's fun to use, but it's locked to the amiibo because they have to make it worthwhile for some reason. So that blows. But moving on, SNES games are only coming to the new 3DS, which I thought it couldn't have been a hardware issue, but some people tell me it might actually be a hardware issue. So I didn't think 15 or 20-year-old games would have a problem running on, the current handheld, but apparently I'm wrong. So if you want,
apparently even Nintendo can make the impossible seem possible.
I don't know. It's weird. If you want SNES games, you can get them on your new 3DS, whatever. How much do you guys care about Paper Mario? Because I feel like I'm probably the only one who cares a lot here.
Like, I feel like I have an obligation to care, but I don't.
Okay.
I'm indifferent. If one came out that got really good review scores, I'd be interested. And if it continues to be mediocre, then I wish that they would do better. That's my whole policy statement there.
Yeah, so I'll try not to talk too long about it, but it pretty much pissed me off because they're like, here's a new Paper Mario. It's a beloved franchise. And then they show it off and it's Sticker Star 2. I don't really need to get into the details. Other people have gone into it. But basically the battle mechanics, basically everything, if you go through it through a fine-tooth comb, like everything goes back to Sticker Star. Even some of the like items like the fan and all this other crap. So it pissed me and a lot of other people off that they're just like, yeah, we're going to make this game that you've been asking for years and do it wrong. And I'm hoping that it's just because they want to that they're just trying to shove out games so they don't have a drought again, but
wait, you're hoping that they're making crap games on
no,
purpose?
I'm hoping the reason that they made it crappy was just because they're like, well, we gotta shove out some game, so let's just remake Sticker Star again. But in the back of their mind, they're like, well, we would love to do an RPG, but we don't really have the time. We gotta push this out quickly, sort of thing.
What if they're delusional and they think that this is what people want?
I'm thinking that's probably the case, unfortunately, and it saddens me because it's basically they've stripped out everything that made the series great.
So Matt, here's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, man, how can we possibly make Nintendo great again? And I was thinking, and I'm like, man, if Trump's little presidency doesn't work out for him, maybe we should bring him on board Nintendo, because he keeps telling me that he's gonna make everything great again.
Well, the thing is, if he doesn't get elected, how can we trust that he's gonna make something great?
This game is gonna be huge. This game's gonna be huge.
Well, he's gonna. So here's what I'm thinking. He's going to build a giant wall around the Sony and Microsoft headquarters so they can no longer release their games. Okay.
They're going to pay for it too, by the way. They're going to pay for it.
They're going to pay for that wall, exactly. And then they're gonna deport all the. Oh wait, we need the Japanese because they make the games. Never mind.
Well, they're not illegal.
He's gonna abandon
they're not
that.
Illegal Japanese people in their own country. That'd be kind of ridiculous.
If it was Donald Trump, he would point out that back in World War II, we put him in camps. We put him in camps back in World War II. We can do it again. We can do it. All listeners of Japanese descent.
We got to put him in game development. He's going to put him in game development camps.
He's going to take the Japanese out of Japan into North America to put them in camps. It's so ridiculous.
Listen, it's going to be huge. I am a successful businessman. I never bankrupted anything.
So Kimishima should watch his back.
I mean, he's got a small loan of $1 million. He can make them great.
Yeah, I mean, really, he can make Nintendo great again. Thank you. That was just my little pitch there for Donald Trump as Nintendo president.
I both support you, and I'm going to come to your rallies and disrupt them by staging protests outside of it, and at the same time supporting you, because if there's one thing I love, it's a good rabble rouser, and boy, it's been an entertaining year in politics here in America. So.
Oh gosh, good stuff. But yeah, Paper Mario Color Splash pisses me off, and I am saddened and lesser for its existence. But so one of the last few things before we get to the game and move on is Metroid Prime Federation Force was shown off, and a couple of websites actually got to do a little gameplay test of it. IGN did like a 7-minute video of a couple missions, or at least one mission. Um, I don't know. I was interested in the game when it first was like shown off and whatnot because I don't really care about Metroid, so it doesn't really bug me. I understand the people, but I just saw it as okay. It's a 4-player co-op. You're in mechs. You can customize them and have different loadouts. And if you want to be like a healer or this or that, you can customize it to be whatever the heck you want. It sounds cool. I like the mechanics. But then I watched IGN do like their 7-minute I don't know presentation of the game, and it just didn't look all that fun. Like it just looked like you're walking around and waiting for things to happen, and the only eventful thing was at the end when you have to like kill a boss. I'm like, this doesn't look all that fun. Did you guys check any of the videos out for it, or?
I watched the videos. I'm on the fence about the game. I am not of that small but vocal percentage of people that were like, because I mean, remember, whenever there's a big explosion of protest, a lot of times the people that are like the silent majority are the people that are like they don't know or don't care. I think that the Federation Force reaction was childish and overreaction and all that kind of stuff, like people, making hate videos and making hate comments and all that stuff, whatever. I still think the game looks kind of like, I'll wait and see. I don't think it looks like the greatest thing ever, and it's no Metroid, but hey, man, let's give it a chance. That's my reaction still. It's hard to tell if this is going to be a fun game or not,
Yeah.
I really think we haven't seen enough. It's kind of unclear how it works. I even as a watcher of the industry and of Nintendo, I still am a little unclear of what I'm going to be doing when I play this game or how I'm going to. Is it going to be online with other people? Like, am I going to be playing with my friends? Is it going to be like Triforce Heroes with all the online connection issues that game had or not? Are they going to learn from that? I don't know. I'm interested. If it's, my favorite kind of games tend to be games you can play with other people, whether online or off. And, if that fills that niche for me, then it could be a cool diversion. It's not going to be a real Metroid game, but who cares? So what? They've rebranded like a lot of their other series. There was, the Triforce Heroes, and there's Link's Target Practice or whatever, and there's, all the Mario spin-offs. Why can't Metroid have a spin-off game? That was probably their reasoning for this in the first place, and I still think it's fair game, for them to do something like that. Why not,
To add to that quickly before Eli chimes in, yeah, like I understand the hate. Like, okay, we've been asking for like a real Metroid Prime, and we've been waiting like so long, and it's like they give them a Metroid game, and it's like we were asking for something else. Like this kind of blows, but at the timing is poor, I think. Or just not poor, just unfortunate because, like someone else said, if we got Link's crossbow training before we saw Zelda U, I'm sure a lot of people would be pissed off. Like, where the heck is Zelda?
That's a good point. I hear what you're saying.
I think the difference here, though, to not sound too biased, is that this is obviously a spin-off game. You're gonna have your regular Metroid first-person or side-scroller. You're gonna have your regular Metroid adventure at some point. It's inevitable. But unlike Paper Mario, like that series it's already a spin-off. Like what they're doing is changing the way the whole game plays and basically all the aspects to it. So like that series is kind of getting screwed, but with Metroid it's like, okay, this kind of sucks for you, but your Metroid game is gonna come. So it's just a matter of waiting a bit longer, unfortunately for them. Eli, did you did you see any of the videos? Like, does it interest you?
Nope. Like, not only so first of all, Metroid is not my franchise to begin with.
Me neither. So cool footing.
And the fact that they took a franchise I'm not interested in and decide to make it. I mean, I don't know. The game's just not for me. Like, and Triforce Heroes was not for me, and this game is not for me. I don't really care. It's too much. Nintendo's multiplayer games, other than like Splatoon and Smash Brothers, are not for me because they're not created well enough to where I appreciate the way they're designed. Not that there's anything inherently wrong with the gameplay, but when I play multiplayer games, I expect to be able to talk to my friends. I expect,
Yeah. In cooperative games.
Yeah, I expect, features from 2005.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it fun. I'm sorry, but like when I play, Borderlands on the PS3 when I first played it the first time, or Xbox, I don't even remember what platform I played it on. It was fun because I was driving around with my buddies, killing all these skags and stuff. The game itself is like, or Diablo. It's not that fun. It's repetitive and stuff like that. But when you're there with your friends, it becomes 100 times better.
Yeah, I definitely say that for Splatoon because I've played. So Unoclay and I have played a lot of Splatoon, like talking to each other, and that's always fun. But a couple of times he would have to go to bed or sleep or whatever, or leave or whatever, and I would play a little bit longer. And I mean, Splatoon's a great game, but it's also like without friends, it does lose a lot of quality to it. Just because, like, oh, I was having fun with games, and it's like now I can't, and it's like, oh, well, I don't know how much I can play this by myself.
I see. I know what you mean there, but the irony or whatever contrast kind of comment I would make on that would be that, like, with Splatoon, I don't care because it's like such quick little matches. And I feel like the matchmaking system is really brilliant that I get matched to people that are close to my skill level most of the time. So, not to diss you, gaming buddy. But I have a lot of fun too when I'm playing. I play a lot actually lately by myself because it seems like my late night schedule isn't matching up with other people's that I play with. It's Smash where I notice it that I'd rather play my friends because the matchmaking for the For Glory mode or most modes isn't really balanced at all. I feel like I just get thrown into matches with people that are far above me all the time, which I don't know whether that means I suck or whether there's just such a wide range in Smash of skill levels.
It's a screwed up system. It's basically if you play any mode, it adds points to this universal score, and then it matches people based off of that rather than like your actual
my universal
online
score.
battles.
I've played the game so much and in so many various ways that it's like I think my universal score must be really out of whack because I get matched into people that are like just brutalize me, all the time. So, it's funny. I hear what you're saying. That is all I have to say about the matchmaking and the playing with or without friends. I think it depends on the game. Is I guess my summary point because I don't mind it in Splatoon. I do mind it in Smash. I'd rather play my friends all the time in Smash. So
I want to clarify. It's not that Splatoon isn't fun. Like I love it, but it's just that I can play more of it when I have with friends, and without friends, I can only play it so much. So it's the same thing with Smash Brothers. I'll play like my favorite characters. I'll play each match. I have like I don't know 10 characters that I like to play as, and I'll play like one match with each of them on my own, and then after that I'm pretty much done. Whereas if I'm playing like with Unoclay, like I could just play it pretty much forever. It's just that when you have friends, like everything is always better pretty much. One point I wanted to leave off on is
unless you're trying to have private time with your loved one and then you're like, no, my friends should probably leave right now, unless you're into that.
Oh gosh. That's gross. Smashing while you're smashing, apparently. So I just want to say about Federation Force, I think it could have done a lot better if instead of just generic mechs, they actually had. They could have just made it Metroid Prime Hunters 2. Have unique characters with unique abilities, and they look like they fit the universe more rather than like this chibi design. And I think a lot of people would have warmed up to it more. But I think the aesthetics played a role in people disliking that game. But I think that's about all we have for today. We'll skip the game this week, but we'll still use the same answers for next week, so you can check out for that. So I'm the Mango Viking, and you can find me at the Mango Viking on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And Eli, where can people find you?
You can find my writing at NintendoEnthusiast.com.
Coolio.
And Palasalon on my IGN.
Nice. Wait, people go there?
I don't know. I don't know.
We gotta make my IGN great again.
Yeah, keep making IGN great. Yeah, no, I'm Unoclay 1 on my IGN. The IGN's hidden and secretive message board that you should join because it's like a secret club and we all hang out there and talk about games and stuff and how much we love IGN. So it's Unoclay 1 there, and on Nintendo services I am Unoclay, no digit at the end, just straight up Unoclay. I've got 1 or 2 open friend slots if you play the kind of games I play, and I'm always looking for new people who like to play games late at night and possibly or possibly not get extremely inebriated while doing so. So hit me up.
Cool. So wherever you're listening, you can find us at Just Another Castle on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, iTunes, Podomatic, and IGN. You can leave us questions in the comments or at justanothercastle@gmail.com. And if you want to be a guest, you can leave us a comment or message me on Twitter at the Mango Viking. So see you next time, and leave gaming to Nintendo.